So, we do hope you're enjoying the content so far. Now on page 65 and 68, I'm about to go through stacking and hedging, both within the mistakes and trap section of the book. Stacking and hedging, most students that have come in, they've either stacked or they've either hedged, and that's how me and Sean, once upon a time, also fell for this mistake and trap. So let's go through stacking first, explain exactly what that is. Now stacking is the amount of times you are going to enter a certain trade, the amount of positions per se. Now, most people, again, will try and enter a trade just once. But when that trade starts to go against you, for example, let's say you're in a sell trade and the trade starts to go against you. Now, chances are your mind can start to imagine different types of support and resistance. Now, when you're losing, you think to yourself, right, let me just get it again there. Let's get it again there. So we do hope you're enjoying some of the content so far. Now on page 65 and 68 within the Astro FX book, we cover stacking and hedging. Both of these are big mistakes and traps from the market that myself and Sean fell for many times. And all the students, once hearing their journeys, without them realizing sometimes they've either stacked or hedged, which in the end has led to failure within their trading. So now in this video, I'm going to break down both of them very quickly. They are in the book for you to read through, but here's a short video breaking them down. So let's choose the first one, stacking. Now many people often ask, how many times should you enter a trade? Now this is a big mistake which a lot of people make. Let's say you're in a sell position, for example here. Now this will be one trade. Now if this trade starts to go against you, which none of us want, but occasionally happens, now, when we see a candlestick or any kind of indicator in our minds that the market's about to go down, let's say you take profits down here, a lot of people sometimes can add to their position, therefore making twice as much profit if the trade goes in the direction, if it does. Now, if this trade continues to go against you, unfortunately, again, sometimes your mind will start to picture imaginary support and resistances. So in this example, resistance. And before you know it, you might be in a third trade. Now don't get me wrong, you are thinking, if this comes down, I'm making 1, 2, 3 times as much profit. Now when a trade goes against you, sometimes you can get attached to it emotionally. And that's what this is. This is being attached to that trade emotionally. And all you're hoping is that if this price comes down to here, you've made your week's profit, you might have made your month's profit, but again, you've added so much volume on that chances are your risk of your account is quite high. And this can get very addictive. In the past, myself and Sean, I'm sure for you guys that have been on the part of the UK course, you've seen the story. Me and Sean lost a lot of money doing this. But again, the market can sometimes be going against you slowly. Now, I call this creeping death, where the market won't just stop you out, it will swing against you. And every single time you see it dip, you're thinking to yourself, it's about to come down. And sometimes, again, you're going to let your fantasy and your idea of this trade go ahead of you, but sometimes you just stick to one stop loss. So if you've got one stop loss, this hopefully shouldn't happen. And I always say, enter a trade only once. In this occasion, I've showed you an example of how this position has been entered 4 times. Therefore, sometimes it can be 4 times the risk. Yes, you can sometimes see it as 4 times the profit, but this is stacking, which is very addictive, especially if it goes well for you. Now, if this trade was to melt down here, trust me, the only thing that you're going to want to do is stack time and time again. And that's how we got addicted to it. But in the long run, your risk is out of control. You're stuck emotionally to one particular trade. And it's just a bad habit because you're going to keep on repeating it. So stacking, we need to stay well away from, enter a trade just once. And to be honest, you don't really want to have more than 2 positions on any amount of currency pairs. Keep those trades low. The more times you're in the market, the more times you're at risk. And you don't want to plunge all that risk in one trade. So that's stacking for you. Now, let's go through hedging. Now, hedging, most of you might have seen online. Hedging has loads of different definitions of what hedging is. Some brokers won't even let you hedge. And to be honest, I feel like that's because they do not want you to be stuck in a trade for months and months and months. Brokers, of course, want you to most likely lose your account as quick as possible. But this is hedging. Let's say, similar to before, we're in a sell trade. Now this trade has unfortunately gone against us. Now on a bigger time frame, this price could feel like it's an area of consolidation. Let's say this sell trade right here is right here. Now you've just realized that you might have sold in between resistance and support. So now you know in the back of your mind it has to come all the way up to here for it to have a possibility of coming back down. You can either sit in loss, or what else could you do? You could think about buying. That's right, so you've got one sell position on and one buy position on. But in your mind, this is the fantasy. It comes up, hits the resistance, and potentially you could close this buy trade in profit. And after that, the market then will come back down, therefore putting your sell position in profit, like this. Now, this is something, guys, that I felt for first hand, and I'll be honest, I didn't lose one particular trade in a whole month. I didn't lose once, again, because I was hedging. But this only works in a sideways market, because let me show you what happened after that month period. That's right, GBP USD, I was stuck in a trade for 3.5 months in loss. Now this is, again, the story is very, very old, but it still applies to the market today. Hedging sometimes can work, but only if the market is stuck within a particular range and your account size can handle that range. The moment it decides to break out within this range, you're screwed. And chances are this might lead to stacking, this might lead you to be in a position for a few weeks or a few months like me. So only do you want to be buying or selling in one direction. And again, going back to stacking, you only want one trade on at once. Keep your trading very simple. I know some of these rules will be broken by you guys, but again, think you're either stacking or you're hedging if you're doing any of what this video has just covered. Big no-no, mistakes and traps, no stacking, no hedging. Good luck.